So, in honor of finals coming up, I decided to go ahead and do another nursing video for you guys. Many of you have been asking me tons of questions on Instagram and on here about nursing and everything like that. So I'm just going to try to hit the main ones that I've been getting asked, and then if you have more questions, just feel free to leave them below. So some of you are a little bit confused and think that I'm in medical school because I've posted pictures in my lab coat with my name on it. But that is part of our uniform at the nursing school that I attend. And I think it's more about having us look professional, and just in case some of us do want to be an NP, because when you are a nurse practitioner you will wear a white jacket, a white coat. But I'm not in medical school. I'm just a nursing student, but I am required to wear my lab coat sometimes. So that's why you see me with it on Instagram. I might take a picture or two in my lab coat, and I like to wear it. It makes me feel very professional. So any confusion on that, I'm not in medical school. I'm just a nursing student. And so finals are coming up. I'll be done with finals in about a week and a half, and then I officially have 2 semesters of nursing school left. So it's been a long road, but I feel like I'm finally close to the finish line. So I'm really excited about that. And I should graduate December 2014 if everything goes well. So I'm praying that it does. So a lot of you want to know how I stay on track with nursing and how I manage studying and time and things like that. And you have to figure out yourself first and understand what you need to do to be successful. But for me, I had to cut out distractions, okay? This was the first year that I decided to myself, well, the first semester that I decided to myself that I really wasn't going to talk to anybody. And by talk, I mean that I wasn't going to talk to any guys, because they, just in all honesty, they make me lose focus. And especially if they're treating me wrong, because of course I'm going to be emotional and upset, and dealing with all that on top of nursing school stress, it's just too much. And I had to realize that, so I had to take myself out of that. And I was like, you know what, you will find somebody once you graduate, but right now focus on what you're doing. And so that's what I've done. I don't talk to anybody. I don't have a boyfriend. I'm not dating. None of that. None of that. And it's helped me a lot. This was my hardest semester in nursing school, and it's actually been my most successful semester. So I'm extremely proud of myself, and it's important that you recognize what distracts you from staying on track, because I recognized that as a distraction, so I cut it out. I also realized that I was going out a lot, and I can't help it. I'm a social butterfly. I love to socialize. I love going out. I love to go out and have a drink with my friends. It's just part of who I am, and I had to realize that I was not going to be able to do that as much. And I literally only went out like 5 times maybe this entire semester, and it hurt me a little bit, but I made it through. And it was important that I did that so that I could be successful in school. You know, kind of a work hard now, play later type of thing. So that's what I do. But that might not be a distraction for everybody. It was a distraction for me. And so I realized that I had to limit myself in those ways. And then once I get where I need to be, I can be rewarded with those things. So that's important. But you know, you still do want to keep time for yourself. You want to manage your personal life, in your social life, in your time. Time management is really important. You want to stay on track. You want to set aside time to study. You want to set aside time to have to yourself, because you do need that while you're in nursing school. I take time to myself a lot, so that's pretty important as well. And so let me give you guys some word of advice. Just because you're not passionate about nursing right now doesn't mean anything, because let me tell you, when I'm in nursing school, some of what I have to do, I literally hate it. You know, when I first pictured myself being a nurse, I never pictured myself cleaning a man's ass. I'm sorry, but I had to say that. I never pictured myself cleaning a man's ass because he had to get his legs amputated because he has gangrene and now he can't move and he needs assistance. while he's in the hospital. That's never what I pictured myself doing. So there are days that I have to do things for school that I'm like, wow, I hate this. But you can't get discouraged by things like that, because you still have to get experience. That way when you do graduate, you can branch off. But nursing is not limited. It's a great field to be in, and it's a great field to choose because you can always branch out and do things. I mean, you can work with pediatrics, you can work geriatrics, you can work adults, you can just work you can work with the mentally ill people, like you can work with schizophrenics, you can work with critical care, you can work in the NICU, you can work in the ICU, you can work in the emergency room. Like, the options seem so endless, and that's another reason why I chose nursing, because there's so much you can do. And you can be a traveling nurse. Like, there's so many different directions you can go with nursing. So don't be discouraged if you have a bad experience. Just realize that nursing is not limited, and in the end there's going to be a lot you're going to be able to do with your degree. And on top of that, you can keep going if you want to. Many of you know that I am considering going to school after I finish my bachelor's degree to get my master's degree and my doctorate's degree. Maybe. It's a maybe. I do want to get my loans forgiven, so it is something that I'm considering. And on the loan forgiveness thing, understand, I think some of you got confused on my other video, understand that the loan forgiveness program that I am talking about for nursing is a Tennessee loans forgiveness program, and you need to look up, depending on what state you're in, if your state offers any type of loan forgiveness type of program. So that's what I would do for that. And then just also realize that setbacks happen, failures happen. It's all a part of the process, and trust me when I say that it's important that we know this information. So if you're failing, just understand that, you know, it's just the rocky road to get over. And that's how I had to take it, because I didn't pass every single class my first time. That's why I'm graduating in December and not in May like I should, because I had setbacks. And, you know, it's very easy to get discouraged with setbacks, and it's very easy to feel like you're behind or you're not on track. But trust me when I say you're not alone, you're not the only one. I'm definitely not the only one in my program that has setbacks, and there's a ton of us that are going to graduate in December. So just understand that you just have to keep working, and that's part of it. That's part of the journey. You're going to have setbacks, you're going to have failures, but you just have to recognize that you have to keep going and keep pushing, and that setbacks and failures don't determine what type of nurse you're going to be, okay? You can make a C in a class, but that still doesn't determine what type of nurse you're going to be. So try to keep that in mind when you're in your classes and you're having a rough time. That's something that I like to think about. So on to the studying part of this. Like I said, in honor of finals, I did want to talk a little bit about studying tips, what I do and what works for me. And then, you know, you guys have to figure out on your own what will work for you. So one of the most important things to know is you really have to know what type of learner you are. And I know that sounds weird, but there's all different types of learners out here. You can be like a visual learner, you can be an auditory learner, you can be a hands-on learner. And what I mean by this is just something that helps you understand the material better. So once you figure out what type of learner you are, that's basically how you should study. That's my advice for that. So for me, I'm a different learner with different classes, and I know that sounds weird, but pharmacology is a completely different class from adult health nursing. So of course I'm going to study differently for those type of classes. For pharmacology, a lot of it is memorization. You have to memorize a lot of drugs and medications and what they do to the body. And so for me, I make note cards and I quiz myself on those note cards, and then our teacher records lectures online, and so I go through those lectures over and over again, making sure I understand the material while she's talking to me, and that helps me with pharmacology. For adult health, I do something completely different, because that's more about you know, common diseases and things of the middle-aged adult. So for that class, there are no note cards. I don't do that. That would be a waste of my time. But I literally try to make sure I understand the material. And what I mean by that is you really have to use your critical thinking skills. You have to think like, what does this mean for my patient? Why does it mean this? What do I need to do? And how does this affect me in their care? And that can help you answer critical thinking questions and also prepare yourself for the NCLEX when you get certified, because when you do take the NCLEX, they're going to ask you patient-based questions all the time, like what would you do in this situation, or why would you do this, or choose the best answer. A lot of times with nursing, on exams they will give you, all of the answers will be right, but one of them will be more right than all the rest of them. And so you have to keep that in mind when you're taking your exams, and you have to think, yes, these are all right, but which one is vital to my patient, or things like that. But that's what helps me. I can try to give some more general tips on studying in general. If you learn by listening, I would suggest that you record your professor's lecture in class and then replay it when you study. I did that for pathophysiology, and it helped me a lot because my teacher was very good at explaining things, but I realized when I would go back over my notes that either the way I wrote it down wasn't helpful to me, or whatever the case may be. But when I was able to go through my notes and listen to her at the same time, it really did help me as far as studying. So that's one thing you can do. If you're a visual learner, this is a little bit more difficult to grasp. If you're a visual learner, the best thing for you to do, what I would do, is look up YouTube videos. There are tons of YouTube videos on every aspect of nursing that you can think of, because trust me, I've done this for some things that I just didn't understand with anatomy and physiology and things like that. So I would look up videos if you're a visual learner. And some of you are, you know, when you write, that's how you learn. So maybe rewrite your notes, things like that. And you might have to do a trial and error type of thing to figure out what type of learner you are. And I know it's kind of hard to do trial and error when grades are at stake, but you know, you want to figure out the way that you learn best. That way you can help yourself succeed. So I know this video was a little long, but I do try to give you guys what you want, and a lot of you have wanted me to make another video about nursing. So that's what I did. So if I missed anything, or you have any more questions or comments, once again, just feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, I'll probably make a video about this year of nursing once finals are over, and so we'll have another nursing video coming soon. But thank you guys for all your support. A lot of you comment on my pictures on Instagram and just like, keep going, like you're such, you know, an inspiration. But it's really you guys that inspire me. Like now that I know that all of you are like watching me, I'm just like, ooh, gotta do good in school, because can't F up. My subscribers are in my corner, they're watching me. So we inspire each other, just know that. But yeah, I really do appreciate that from you guys. I love you so much, and I'm so happy that I'm able to inspire some of you. So yeah, but that's it. Just stay tuned to my channel, and I love you guys. See you later.